Abraham Lincoln here is one of the most racist presidents we've had in modern history.
Last night's debate was enlightening, not because anything groundbreaking was said, but because it was civil. It was good. It was interesting. But will this have any effect in the election? Will any voters actually be swayed? Well, let's get into it. The debate changes were quite apparent. The muting of the mics, I think, was good for Trump. It made him contain himself, be more disciplined, and he came off looking less like a bully than last time. Did you guys like the mute of the mics? Do you think it favored Trump? Comment down below. So who won the debate? Let's start with that, right? Well, interestingly enough, that depends on who you like going into the debate. After the debate, I was checking through Twitter and I found quite an interesting situation developing on my timeline. Check this out. You got Sagar and Jetty on the top saying probably Trump's best presidential debate, including those with Hillary. Then you have Crystal Ball. This is Biden's best debate so far, even better than this one versus Bernie at this point. Now, you should know that Sagar and Crystal are co-hosts in a political news show. Then, on the bottom, you got Ben Shapiro. How different would this race be right now if Trump had shown up and performed like this in the first debate? So clearly, whoever you like going into the debate, that's who you thought won the debate. Having established the fact that the winner of the debate was whoever you like going into the debate, let's just go over some of my favorite parts. Starting with the biggest lie of the night.
That's why not one single person with private insurance would lose their insurance under my plan, nor did they under Obamacare.
It was a throwback to 2013, actually, when Biden said, hey, people under Obamacare didn't lose their coverage. That was a lie. Actually, over 20 million people lost their coverage. Funny enough, PolitiFact rated that 2013's biggest lie. Maybe it'll come back around for another victory in 2020? But we shouldn't expect anything else from a career politician, and Joe's been doing this for 50 years? Luckily, Trump did a good job and called him out on that.
This isn't about, there's a reason why he's bringing up all this malarkey. There's a reason for it. He doesn't want to talk about the substantive issues. It's not about his family and my family. It's about your family. And your family's hurting badly. If you're making less than, if you're a middle-class family, you're getting hurt badly right now. You're sitting at the kitchen table this morning deciding, well, we can't get new tires, they're bald because we have to wait another month or so. Or are we going to be able to pay the mortgage? Or who's going to tell her she can't go back to community college? They're the decisions you're making in the middle-class families like I grew up in Scranton and Claymont. They're in trouble. We should be talking about your families, but that's the last thing he wants to talk about.
I want to talk about North Korea.
Excuse me, just
I do
for
want
one
to turn
second,
to
please.
10 seconds, Mr. President.
That's
10
a
seconds.
typical political statement. Let's get off this China thing, and then he looks, the family, around the table, everything. Just a typical politician when I see that.
Let's talk about North
I'm not a typical
Korea now.
politician.
Okay,
That's why I got
Trump.
elected.
Let's
get off the subject of China. Let's talk around, sitting around the table.
All right.
Come on, Joe, you can do better.
Trump did that a few times in the debate, and it was quite effective each time he did it. Another moment I enjoyed was when Trump brought up Biden calling him xenophobic for closing the border to China. China. And Biden's lack of response.
What happened? What did the president say? He said, don't worry, it's going to go away. Be gone by Easter. Don't worry, the warm weather. Don't worry, maybe inject bleach. He said he was kidding when he said that, but a lot of people thought it was serious. A whole range of things the president has said. Even today, he thinks we are in control. We're about to lose 200,000 more people.
President Trump.
Look, perhaps just to finish this, I was kidding on that, but just to finish this, when I closed, he said I shouldn't have closed. And that went on for months. Nancy Pelosi said the same thing. She was dancing on the streets in Chinatown in San Francisco. But when I closed, he said, this is a terrible thing, you're xenophobic. I think he called me racist even, and because I was closing it to China. Now he says I should have closed it earlier. It just, Joe, it doesn't work.
I didn't say either of those things.
You certainly did. You certainly
and Chinese coming to the United States.
All right, I want to talk about both of your different strategies to handling
He thought
this.
I shouldn't have closed the border.
Well,
That's obvious.
Do you want to respond to that quickly, Vice President Biden? Okay.
Would you like to respond to that? No. What the fuck? And by the way, here's Nancy Pelosi downplaying the virus.
People are concerned about China.
But that shouldn't be carried over to Chinatown and San Francisco. I hope that it's not that, but all I can say is I'm here. We feel safe and sound, so many of us coming here.
The most enlightening part of the debate was the North Korea talk. When Trump took office, I remember people being scared that, oh, he was a hothead, he had his finger on the trigger, he had the nuclear codes, and the opposite of that ended up being true. He was quite level-headed, and he explained it very well.
So when I met with Barack Obama, we sat in the White House right at the beginning, had a great conversation. It was supposed to be 15 minutes, and it was well over an hour. He said the biggest problem we have with North Korea. He indicated we will be in a war with North Korea. Guess what? It would be a nuclear war, and he does have plenty of nuclear capability. In the meantime, I have a very good relationship with him. Different kind of a guy, but he probably thinks the same thing about me. We have a different kind of a relationship. We have a very good relationship, and there's no war. And you know, about 2 months ago, he broke into a certain area. They said, oh, there's going to be trouble. I said, no, they're not, because he's not going to do that. And I was right. Look, instead of being in a war where millions of people, Seoul, you know, is 25 miles away, millions and millions,
10 seconds,
they tried to meet with him. He wouldn't do it. He didn't like Obama. He didn't like him. He wouldn't do it.
Okay, I
know
got to
for
give him a
fact, they
chance to
tried,
respond to that
he
before we
wouldn't
move
do
on.
it.
You
And
know,
that's okay. You know what? North Korea, we're not in a war. We have a good relationship. You know, people don't understand. Having a good
President
relationship
Trump,
with
we have
leaders
to
of
move on
other
because
countries
we have
is
a lot
a
of
good thing.
We have a lot of questions to get
Yes,
to.
not
That's
Your
like
response.
saying we had a good relationship with Hitler before he, in fact, invaded Europe.
We had a good relationship with Hitler before he invaded Europe? No, he didn't. And you should know that. Weren't you like 40 during World War II? He even had the balls to cross into North Korea without a security detail. Or did you forget about that?
Excellency, take a step forward. You will be the first U.S. president to cross the border.
Whoa, no.
Trump's biggest mistakes came during the immigration talk. Even though he was right during the catch and release part, he should not have said that the people with low IQs come back.
Response,
So
30
important.
seconds, and then we'll move
It
on.
just shows that he has no understanding of immigration or the laws. Catch and release is a disaster. A murderer would come in, a rapist would come in, a very bad person would come in. We would take their name. We have to release them into our country. And then you say they come back. Less than 1% of the people come back. We have to send ICE out and Border Patrol out to find them. We would say, come back in 2 years, 3 years. We're going to give you a court case. You need Perry Mason. We're going to give you a court case. When you say they come back, they don't come back, Joe. They never come back. Only the really, I hate to say this, but those with the lowest IQ, they might come back.
Okay,
Yes, you're right, man. But you can't say it. That's not smart. The most important issue in which Trump was right to call out Biden was on fracking. Why? Because Biden's stance on fracking might lose him his election. He said many times before he would ban it. He would phase out the oil industry. Even CNN fact-checked that.
Again, when after Joe Biden on the issue of fracking to extract oil and gas. Let's listen.
It's all a pipe dream. But you know what we'll do? We're going to have the greatest economy in the world. But if you want to kill the economy, get rid of your oil industry. You want, and what about fracking?
All right,
Now-
let me
now we have to ask
let me
about
allow
fracking.
Vice President Biden to respond.
never said I oppose fracking.
You said it on tape.
I did. Show the tape. Put it on your website.
I'll put it on.
Put it on the website.
Thank you, Mr. Vice President. Just to clarify, would there be any place for fossil fuels, including coal and fracking, in a Biden administration?
No, we would work it out. We would make sure it's eliminated and no more subsidies for either one of those, any fossil fuel.
So Biden did not say the words, I oppose fracking there, but he clearly was at least very strongly suggesting that he was an opponent.
While Sleepy Joe started off well and coherent, it started going downhill as time went by. It seemed like he was losing steam. And gaffe-prone Sleepy Joe was in full display.
I am the least racist person. I can't even see the audience because it's so dark, but I don't care who's in the audience. I'm the least racist person in this room.
Okay, Vice President Biden, let me ask you very quickly, and then I have a follow-up question for you.
Abraham Lincoln here is one of the most racist presidents we've had in modern history.
Joe, I know you're old, but this ain't 1860. It's 2020. You're debating the Donald, the Orange Man. Then he had another nice gaffe regarding the Proud Boys.
He's banned Muslims because they're Muslims. He has moved around and made everything worse across the board. He says about the poor boys, last time we were on stage here, he said, I told them to stand down and stand ready. Come on. This guy is a dog whistle about as big as a foghorn.
President Trump, I'm going to give you 10 seconds to respond, and then I have a follow-up.
He made a reference to Abraham Lincoln. Where did that come in? I mean,
You said
where
you're
did that-
Abraham Lincoln.
No, where did that? No.
You said-
I said not since Abraham Lincoln.
And he didn't say stand down and stand ready. He said stand down and stand by, which, it's not good, but that's not what he said. And it's Proud Boys, not poor boys. Now, the most awkward part of the whole debate, and maybe the whole election season, is this.
You know why, Joe? Because you're all talk and no action.
All right, Vice President
Because
Biden,
we had
and
a
then we're going
different-
to move on to the next section.
We had a Republican Congress. That's the answer.
I was uncomfortable watching that. As I said in the beginning, if you like Biden going into the debate, you thought Biden won. And if you like Trump going into the debate, you thought Trump won. So did nobody win? Well, I think somebody did win. I think Trump won for a small reason. And he won a little bit. He got Biden to say that he was going to phase out oil. He got him to say it.
Okay, I have one final
Would
question.
he close
It
down
falls-
the oil industry?
It falls.
Would you close down the
falls-
oil
By the way, I would
industry?
transition from the oil industry, yes.
Oh,
I would
that's
transition.
a big statement.
It is a big statement.
That's a big
because
statement.
I would stop
Why would you do that?
because the oil industry pollutes significantly.
And that is, the oil industry is very important in Pennsylvania, which is the most important state in this election. And if there's any people who didn't know who they were going to vote for in Pennsylvania, now they're going to vote for Trump. Thank you for watching. Like, subscribe. Ginger out.